Hello and welcome to the morning show, teeing off with RevSportz. A very good morning to all of you. But we had a bad news. India, one of Indian cricket's most entertaining cricketer, Salim Durrani, just passed away. We'll talk about that. Other than that, we have another double-header day in IPL. PV Sindhu will be playing her final in Spain Masters Super 300. Uh, we'll talk about Indian football. The Super Cup is starting the qualifying rounds from tomorrow, and lots to discuss. So we have to discuss Boria Majumdar, Trisha Ghoshal, and Shubhan Chakraborty. So can we please have them? Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
good morning.
Boria coming to you on Salim Durrani. As Shubhan said, one of India's most entertaining cricketers ever, flamboyant cricketer. Talk to me about Salim Durrani a bit. We just heard a
Absolutely.
bad
I mean,
news.
Shubhan is absolutely right. Firstly, Salim Durrani was not well for a while. I mean, the last time I remember meeting him was at the CCI, uh, right out that lobby of the CCI about a couple of years back when he was still there. He used to come to the club once in a while, and I had also sort of met him at the Chinnaswamy when Amitabh Chaudhary, who too is no longer alive. Amitabh Chaudhary had taken him to the Chinnaswamy. It was his 81st birthday or something like that. But as Shubhan said, one of Indian cricket's most colorful characters, flamboyant cricketers, and entertainers. Just think, because you said it's an IPL double-header day, if Salim Durrani would have been part of an
Oh,
IPL auction, what would have happened? He would have broken the bank. Teams would have broken the bank for him. And I will give you a story. 1971, India had never beaten the West Indies in the West Indies. And at that point in time, there was a culture that Ajit Wadekar had started this, that in Ajit Wadekar's room, the players would gather and have an evening drink around 6 o'clock and just unwind kind of. So Salim Durrani was also part of that evening meeting, and this story has been told to me by Gundappa Vishwanath. It is part of one of our books, 1971, which Trisha actually was referring to. So Gundappa Vishwanath tells me, and corroborated by Sunil Gavaskar. So they were planning as to what to do with Sir Garfield Sobers and Clive Lloyd. And all of a sudden, Salim Durrani looks at Ajit Wadekar and says, "Get me a drink, buy me a drink, and I will get Sir Clive and Garfield out for you." And people were like, "What?" And he said, "Yes. The moment Sir Garfield comes out to bat and Clive comes out to bat, give the ball to me. Whoever is bowling at the other end, change and give it to me." And people did not believe him. Okay, people did not believe him. Next morning, Sir Garfield Sobers comes out to bat, and he goes up to Ajit Wadekar and says, "Give it to me." Ajit Wadekar gives the ball to him. Sir Garfield Sobers for a duck, Clive Lloyd for a duck. The rest is history. Gundappa Vishwanath told me that one time Tiger Pataudia was at his best at that point. He said, this guy, and it was like a dead batting wicket, and Tiger Pataudia will score these big hundreds. And Salim Durrani went to him and he said, "I'll get you out." And he said that one ball, nothing was happening on the track. He said he gave it such a rip that the entire flesh from his finger had come out, but Tiger Pataudia gone for a duck. But the point is, it was all here. One of the most temperamental cricketers of all time, absolute entertainer, great stories, incredible stories. We'll do an article on RevSportz celebrating Salim Durrani, but big loss for Indian cricket.
India's
Boria, if
India's
you
first India's first cricketer who ventured into Bollywood, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, first or not, I don't know, because in the past also there were some forays, but yes, and why not? I mean, if you take a look at some of Salim Durrani's pictures from the 1970s, I mean, absolute film star, right? Absolute rock star kind of, and the way he conducted himself, asking for sixes, he would give it to them. Asking for chance six, he would give it to them. Fantastic stuff.
Boria, if you have to compare Salim Durrani with any modern cricketer, who would you do with?
Ooh.
Interesting question. I don't see many people as flamboyant as Salim Durrani. I mean, if you want to compare, perhaps it's a slightly unfair comparison, maybe Sir Garfield Sobers in terms of flamboyance. And obviously, Sir Garfield's record and everything, he is one of the greatest, if not the greatest cricketer ever playing. Salim Durrani did not do justice to his talent, but I mean, talent and one of the most. So Keith Miller, Salim Durrani, Garfield Sobers, these are characters of world cricket. Currently, the game is far more disciplined. Okay, not in terms of bowling, but if you really want someone who your generation will understand, maybe somebody like a Brian Lara, maybe somebody like an Andrew Flintoff, maybe somebody like an Ian Botham. These are comparisons to Salim Durrani.
Okay, so I kind of get a picture George Best like in football. So
George Best, absolutely, George Best.
Absolutely.
That's a good comparison.
okay, got it, get it now. So in discussing today's double headers, Shubhan, what do you expect from SRH versus RR? You have been telling that SRH is one of the most balanced side this season. Talk to me. What do you expect from the game?
Two of my most favorite sides on paper, but as we have been discussing on our live shows, IPL live shows, that matches are not played on paper. It will be interesting contest. The first one, especially SRH versus RR, very good teams. But all the frenzy will be around the second match of the day, RCB versus MI. That's the big one because
I
of the rivalry between the two sides. Both the clashes today are absolutely epic, and hopefully we'll see a good contest on the field.
Tisha, are you excited for the first match or the second match?
Is that even a question?
I think Trisha got stuck with her internet issue.
Trisha is so happy. Trisha is so happy that RCB is playing. She froze. She froze in happiness. She has smiled. See the smile.
And she got stuck with the smile in her face.
Yes.
Coming to you, what do you expect from today's games?
A Mumbai versus RCB contest is one of those kind of contests, right? I mean, it's like that El Clasico kind of Manchester versus Manchester, that kind of contest. You would want both these teams to be at their best, give people their money's worth, and it's now at the Chinnaswamy. So again, a big high-scoring contest. Last year, no home and away, so people would want to watch Virat Kohli get a big one in front of their home crowd. But yesterday, I was seeing some photographs of Rohit Sharma signing away autographs. Similar kind of fan frenzy for Rohit Sharma. So this is between the two biggest brands of Indian cricket. Not maybe sides, because RCB obviously doesn't have the record in terms of wins, but in terms of a brand, RCB is right up there along with the Mumbai Indians. So and maybe CSK. So for fan frenzy, I think the BCCI has done well to schedule this as the first game. So it's excellent in that sense.
Okay. Trisha, you got stuck in the middle with joy.
Yeah,
so,
my
yes,
Wi-Fi
continue.
just betrayed me right at the time that I opened my mouth. But
Yes, it
as
is,
I was saying, I think the interesting part about both the matches is SRH and RR both have very strong teams, and they're playing against each other, so it will be a high octane clash. And when it comes to RCB MI, there's so much history. I mean, we love to like RCB fans love to hate MI loves to hate RCB, but I mean MI fans. But we love to watch both Virat and Rohit in action. But then again, having said that, I don't know if MI is that balanced a team, and RCB always looks good on paper.
But as we were talking, cricket is not played on paper, and MI will have Mrs. Ambani's prayers with them on the ground. So,
But
so
RCB fandom is huge. So players, I'm
absolutely.
sure they are not the ones who are behind. It's just that players also do not help much at times.
Okay. Well, coming to the first match, you were telling SRH was a balanced team, more balanced team. So talk to me about that. What balance they do and the impact player they might bring in the game.
Of course, first of all, they will be missing their captain Aiden Markram in this opener. Bhuvneshwar Kumar will be leading. So that is somewhat a blow because Markram has been in fantastic form in the recent past for South Africa as well. So and he was good in SAT20 as well. So Markram is a big miss, but I am particularly excited about Harry Brooks. What this guy will bring to India and Indian Premier League, absolute superstar, has been in sensational form across formats and franchisee leagues. And apart from that, how Mayank Agarwal does in his new franchisee SRH. He was hard done by Punjab Kings last season and has done well in domestic cricket as well. So he's coming on the back of some good runs to their table and some really good players. Rahul Tripathi is there, Abdul Samad is there, Abhishek Sharma from Punjab, Washington Sundar. Abdul Samad is someone I'm looking at as an impact player. Now we'll see these kind of players, finishers, hard hitters who can come and do that role. Apart from that, the pace attack is sensational. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Umran Malik, T. Natarajan, Marco Jansen. Although I don't think he will play in this match. And then you have a quality spinner in Washington Sundar, and maybe if they can find a place for Adil Rashid, then nothing like that. So they have a good quality impact player wise. Maybe is Umran Malik your impact player? If he's not, if you want to just bowl 4 overs from him, uh, that could be a case, or even a T Natarajan who is not that good on the field. So get him to bowl those 4 overs, replace him with an extra batter. If you are batting second, then you're good to go. Rajasthan Royals, they are the finalists, so they have retained their core. So a very good side on paper as always.
Yes, I would come to on this Buryada, but before that, as Shubhan mentioned about Umran Malik, can he be played as the impact player? So this option, so in yesterday's match, Kale Myers, we saw how blast he gave, but when Quinton de Kock comes back, what happens to him? Can he be again drafted in as the impact player? So this option also has there is this option
The
now
teams have
because
this option, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very
On current form, they might even drop Marcus Stoinis because
hmm.
Myers, the way he bowled up front, he was getting the ball to move both ways, and he's an opening bowling option for them. And the kind of form he showed yesterday, and Quinton de Kock showed in that last T20 against the West Indies in that record run chase, you might just see that Lucknow sort of tinkers with that batting order and goes with. Imagine Myers and Quinton de Kock opening with KL Rahul dropping one down. And all of a sudden, it's an explosive opening pair. I think they will, on current form, there is every reason for them to think at least of dropping Marcus Stoinis because you will not drop Mark Wood. I mean, and last year when Mark Wood was in hospital recuperating after that operation, and he was the one who Lucknow missed. Yesterday, I said this on your show that watch out for Mark Wood. He was our fantasy vice captain also. So, extra pace. So, he's not going to get dropped unless he's injured, number one. Clearly, Quinton, you can't drop. I mean, Quinton at the top of the order, left hand, can't drop. Kyle Myers, after yesterday, has cemented his place in that side. Can you get Marcus as? Can you go in with these three, and then get somebody in as a impact player also? That is something that these fellows will have to wait and see. But it's a tremendous side. Puran you won't drop, right? So clearly that the axe is Marcus Stoinis at this point in time. But then, you can actually think that you will give Quinton a couple of games, and then if Myers is opening, you might just go in with Marcus for a. I mean, they've got a wealth of riches, Lucknow, wealth of riches, and Mark Wood has given them that extra dimension of pace. So fabulous side.
Absolutely. And earlier, the management had a problem of whom to drop and whom to not drop, and now they have the option. Yes, Trisha.
Yeah, I think because now there's this option of changing the teams after toss. I mean, changing the teams as in you can decide a team for batting first and bowling first. I was thinking maybe they will play between Quinton and Marcus Stoinis depending on if they bat first. Probably they'll go with a Quinton, and if they chase, they might
No,
go
but
with
but
a.
it's 3 or 4 players, no, so they can't do that. So they'll have to go in with Nicholas Puran one. They'll have to go in with if you are saying Quinton, then Quinton two, Kyle Myers
No, I'm
three,
not
and
saying
Mark Wood
impact
four.
player. I'm not saying impact player. I'm
So you'll say
saying total
rotate.
for that matter. Yes.
So that's yeah. So between Quinton and Marcus at this point in time, that will be the call. But when Quinton comes, they will definitely because Quinton also is a match winner in his own right. So you can't just sort of keep him on the bench. But Lucknow is looking enormously good after Jaidev has given them that added edge, even if he's considered 18. Think of it, Avesh Khan will want to make a point. They've got all bases covered. They've got a Bishnoi, they've got a left arm in
Ravi.
Krunal, they've got a right arm in Gautam. In every sense, they have a team which is a solid one, unless they unravel and they sort of mentally screw it up. My problem with Kale is that Kale extraordinary. Under pressure, can Kale hold it? If he can, there is every reason for Lucknow to believe they have the team to go the distance. And
Absolutely.
boss,
I
whoever
think
did that impact player call one ball before
No,
was
champion
like a
call.
magician.
Champion call.
One ball. Whether it's Gautam, whether it's Kale, whether it's Andy, whoever did that, tremendous call.
right.
Absolutely. And what a shot that was. And coming to you, Trisha, we are talking about the impact player, but do you think RCB has that bench depth to bring in some impact player, or they have some domestic players like Siddharth Kaul, uh, Karan Sharma, but do you think they might be actually roped in?
Again, depends on whether RCB is batting first or bowling first. I think impact player has got a lot to do with that. And yeah, I mean, for example, RCB can try bringing in Siddharth Kaul. If they're batting first. But again, as I said, the impact player, what the impact player, I mean, the way the impact player was used last match, I think the teams will now start understanding how to use the impact players, because it was absolutely perfect from both ends. Because the moment Khalil finished his quota of overs, he was replaced as well. Probably, I am guessing that Aman Khan must be a better fielder too.
Hmm.
So you get
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
as well. Yeah, so you get that as well. That's why impact player rule has made IPL interesting. I mean, I don't know how I would feel about that being used in international cricket, but yeah. And I think every team has that bench strength. RCB has always had that strength. There's no problem in that. It's just that what will be interesting is how do they use these players.
Yeah. Shubhan, coming to you, Dinesh Karthik will be a key player uh, for
One
RCB.
of the Ashes commentators now as well. So Dinesh Karthik growing as ever off the field as well, but on the field his role will be crucial, absolutely crucial in that finisher's role. They have Maxwell as well, who has done well in the practice matches, and of course Michael Bracewell, who smashed a century. So when it remains to be seen whether he gets a game or not. He smashed a century in the warm-up match. That was intra-squad warm-up match. So Michael Bracewell is going to be one player to look forward to. But apart from that, both the sides. Trisha mentioned that Mumbai Indians are not that balanced. It is just because of their bowling unit. I think they are a weakened side there, and perhaps one more experienced domestic season pacer like a Siddharth Kaul, who is in RCB camp, would have helped Mumbai Indians this time around. But there are plenty of options when it comes to impact player. Karan Sharma is there, the leg spinner for RCB. He can be used. I have someone like an Arjun Tendulkar, whom I feel can come both good with bat and ball. Arjun has been doing well in the domestic circuit for Goa this time. He has switched sides, so he's an exciting prospect. Arshad Khan is someone to look forward to from Mumbai Indians, and there are options. You might, you know, there are you can't use an overseas player as an impact player unless you are fielding three options. So this is the time for these domestic players who have Manoj Bhandage, another option from RCB, hard hitting player. These are the sort of players who can come and make a quick impact and capture the eyes of millions, crores watching, and suddenly they are a household name if they can, like Krishnappa Gautam last evening. So a huge opportunity for every young domestic player out there.
Okay, Buryada, your thoughts on this Mumbai side before we go on to PV Sindhu's final? Cameron Green coming in, missing out on Archer Bumrah pair, bowling pair. Your thoughts on this Mumbai side?
If I was Rohit, all I would do is the moment Virat Kohli and Faf du Plessis come into bat, just go to Jofra Archer and say bowl. Unleash you. Go bowl. See, the fact is RCB, all their strength, all of this taken into consideration, they are top heavy. It's Faf, Maxwell, Virat. Archer knocks 2 over, and all of a sudden you're like, again, you've got to depend on a Shahbaz, you've got to depend on that middle order. And we've seen what can happen in that middle order with RCB season after season. And you know, I'm actually, if there's one fellow I want to look how he is, it's Jofra Archer. According to me, the most destructive bowler in this format before he went out of injury. And if he picks two, it's a different ball game. Chinnaswamy small ground, otherwise people like Virat can murder you. Okay, so that is something I'm looking forward to. Mumbai versus RCB is also in the mind. Who is a better captain? Who's going to hold pressure better? How will Rohit react to last year? He's got to also prove a point. So there's a lot happening there. I mean, you know, not everybody will sort of say anything in public, but this is one match they will want to win.
Absolutely. And
But also Mumbai starts slow, so they
Yes.
have this record of not beginning well, which they would love to change, because you know what, it's unnecessary pressure that they take on themselves. And with RCB, to be honest, I'll tell you what, Rohan, the problem is never on the side, or as Boria mentioned, if you see the names, Faf, the Virat, Maxwell, big names. But the problem is Virat is no more as consistent as he was. For example, even Faf isn't. But it's a top-heavy lineup. So it comes down to players like Shahbaz. Like Shahbaz has been a real good contributor for RCB. So RCB is a bit of a here and there team, when it comes to performing. Not the talent of the players. It's the
Risha is
performance.
right.
Rajat
RCB is
Patidar
like
will also be a big.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Rajat Patidar is a big one, big call. I mean, it is like the Indian team in the World Cup. Names are great, but it is not the same names. I mean, a Virat, a Rohit, that side. You saw what happened in Australia, and think of England. I mean, can that brand of cricket be played by RCB? No, I don't think so. I mean, if you expect a Faf du Plessis and a Virat Kohli to go and play like the way Joss Butler plays now, can you expect that? Perhaps not. Or a Harry
that's
Brook
what
is
I
going to
feel.
play.
And that's where I feel maybe someone like a Michael Bresswell or some changes can be made, to just bring in a little bit of freshness in the team. And when I say freshness, I don't really mean someone's debut. What I mean is just change the way you have been playing, because clearly it has not been working.
For
Yeah.
Mumbai, who opens? I mean, are you going to go with...
Ishan Rohit?
Ishan
Yeah, I
Rohit?
mean, that is the conventional opening pair. But is there a thought for Rohit Sharma to go in with a Cam Green and get him down again like he has done in the past? Because if a Cam Green comes up and scores a 30 of 10 balls, he's very well capable to hit the first ball out of the park. That gives Rohit Sharma that cushion. Can you open with a Cam Green right left also and get that start? Because if you hold Cam Green back, where are you going to play him? Because you've already got a Tim David. You've got Surya Kumar Yadav, who's the world's #1 T20 batter. If you take a look at that Mumbai lineup now, it's quite a scary lineup. But you've got to make use of your resources the best. Where is Cam Green going to be used? He's not going to bowl. If he's not going to bowl, as a batter, you're going to play him. If you're playing him as a batter, how do you use him best?
yeah,
And
so many.
where I don't mind Rohit coming in at 3 for RCB, maybe someone like a Faf coming in at 3, because Virat has done very well as an open. I mean, the best, it suits him best. So maybe get a Kohli and Bracewell to open and bring Faf at 3. And in case of Mumbai, get an Ishan and Cam Green to open. So when it becomes 60 of 6 overs and then Rohit comes in, he can maneuver and take his time to settle in and then go big. And then there's a Sky, there's a Tim David who will, obviously do the big hitting.
Yeah,
And a big
Sindhu
tournament for Surya Kumar Yadav as well, who recently registered 3 consecutive ODI ducks, golden ducks.
Yeah,
But
this
you
is
know
his
what?
format.
I think I
This
was
is
reading
his format.
Yeah,
somewhere that
this
you
is.
can't call this. You can't even call this form because he just played one ball. I mean, total. I think he
Yeah,
played 4 balls. You know.
three
So
balls. Three balls
yeah,
in 3 matches.
Last year was baffling. I mean, not to see Tim David in every game was strange. And when he
absolutely.
came out, and
Right.
you all realized what he can do, and you bought him for 8 crores. So last year was not the usual Mumbai Indians season. So you now see a Cam Green, a Tim David, each can win you a game. You will perhaps drop a
Right.
Dewald Brevis, who again is an incredible prospect. You have a Surya Kumar Yadav who can win you a game. You have an Ishan Kishan on his day can be destructive. A Rohit Sharma, no one needs to say. So that batting order can actually kill teams. So can that batting order do justice? We've got to wait and see.
and we'll discuss it in the
Sorry,
previous show
Rohan,
also.
can I just interrupt? I wanted to ask Boria, what do you think about Arjun Tendulkar in this Mumbai squad? Not in general as a player, but in this Mumbai squad, do you see him being used, as Shubhan said, as the impact player? Maybe.
It's a difficult question because for Goa he has done well. He's a good all-round cricketer, but uh, because of the impact player, the utility of someone like Arjun in my book has gone down. Because you might just want to go in for specialists rather than someone like Arjun who is actually an all-round cricketer. But perhaps somebody will be a better bowler, somebody will be a better batter. So the utility of this kind of all-round cricketers, and Arjun is a decent all-rounder, could just mean that they will go in with a specialist. Just mean. Having
Yeah.
said that, he is an improved cricketer. We've seen that for Goa. So one has to wait and see how he fits into the Mumbai scheme of things. But it just seems to me that Arjun deserves his chance without the surname. Because for
Yeah.
far too long, people have been harsh on Arjun Tendulkar because he's Sachin Tendulkar's son, and it's gone against him. If he's done well, he's Sachin's son. If he doesn't do well, he's rubbish because he's such. What nonsense is this? And we've seen that with John Bredson having to change his name. And in Arjun's case, I think we have. I mean, the public at large has been unfair on Arjun Tendulkar because of who he is.
Yes, this is a massive problem. We have seen it in other professions, other players also, and we will discuss
I think
at a
something that
stage.
Gayatri Gopichand's will also face eventually.
Uh,
Yes, I think she has answered that by making it to the All England semis, and to a degree, that debate is now settled that she belongs there. Unfortunately, unfortunately for Arjun, it's not settled, and that will sort of rankle Arjun till he puts in one big effort. The Mixed Asia
Right.
Championship and the All England has settled that for Gayatri.
so Bunyadar, talking about badminton, today's Sindhu's final versus the Indonesian player uh, Tungjam GM, and if you look at the head-to-heads, last 5 games versus Tungjam, Sindhu have won. Your thoughts on the final?
Yeah, but that is not the same Sindhu who will turn up today. This is a different Sindhu.
Hmm.
Even if you watched yesterday against that Singapore girl, she was down 15-20. And then all of a sudden she started doing those longish serves and
Hmm.
managed 5 points. And that was extraordinary to see the fact that she did not give up. And then she won 24-22. In the second game, I thought that call was unfair and Sindhu should have won that match point call because it went out, but she had used her challenges. So Sindhu is still not back at her best. Let's be very, very clear about it. Number two, if you see that second match against Carolina Marin of the Indonesian girl, it was one apiece, and then it was going to Marin 9-7 or something like that, and all of a sudden at 10 all, she took some 10 points, and Marin just kind of gave up. I don't know what happened. I was watching that match and one unforced error after another, one unforced error after another, and she ran away with it. But that's the point. Her court coverage against someone like Marine, who has deception, was incredible. Can Sindhu handle that deception? Because this Indonesian girl, she's by the way number 15 or something, so she's
Yeah.
in the top bracket, and she will make Sindhu sort of really run around. She'll use the court. Sindhu's best part was her reach. That's where Sindhu is struggling, because if you see some ball, she's just retrieving and creating points for the opponent to come in. Even yesterday, that Singapore girl, each time she smashed cross court, Sindhu wasn't able to reach because she was finding it difficult to retrieve and go back. So this is Sindhu at 65%. But what I've loved about Sindhu is the zeal not to give up. Yesterday also 15-20 came back. Okay, next game she was up. When this girl came back, she did not give up. Even match point went against her. She did not give up. Looked back, calmed herself, won the match. So it will be a good match to watch to understand where Sindhu is. But because it's the final and because Sindhu has been there, done that, I would say marginally ahead, but it will be a close one.
Absolutely. So you also keep Sindhu ahead a bit, Trisha, because she has that uh, name behind her back, PV Sindhu. So
I think more than the name, I completely agree with Boria. There was a point of time. I think this was after the silver medal that she got. That every time Sindhu came out, I would be scared that the moment she would be in a disadvantageous position, she would give up, and then never get back. But this Sindhu, as Boria said, is mentally very strong. And at times, why at times, I think I have repeated, this is one of my favorite dialogues, that 70% of your sport is played here, 30% you go and execute that. Now execution part hasn't been the best, but I still think that she'll have that mental edge over her opponent, which is important. Court coverage, you never know, once you're pushed, because as Boria said, she will be pushed today, of course. Somebody who has defeated Marine is not an easy player, for sure. And she will be pushed, but I think that actually will be good for Sindhu herself to up her game. So far, she hasn't. Okay, let's put it this way. Ever since she has come back from the injury, her best is far from coming. Maybe today is the day when she will turn up and will have the best game.
absolutely, like as you rightly said, that this is the moment you need that spark to go forward, because
Absolutely.
the Sudirman Cup is also coming, Olympic qualifiers, and then of course the Paris. So that will be an interesting one to see. Shubhan, your thoughts on what we expect, and after that we'll come to the Super Cup. From tomorrow, the qualifiers is starting. Super Cup. I have a question on the Super Cup for Boryada, but uh, Shubhan, you go first, and then I'll come to Boryada.
I'll keep it short. No final is easy. Sindhu will have to play her best to win this one, and it is very important for her personally to win this one because she has
Yeah.
been struggling a bit since coming back from the injury. So very important match, a very important tournament for Sindhu to get going before the Paris games.
Yes, absolutely. Boryada, the Super Cup is beginning from tomorrow. The qualifier stage. 11 teams from ISL will be playing. 12, so 16 teams in the Super Cup, 11 teams from the ISL, one team I League champion, and four from the qualifiers from I League. So, do you think an added advantage for the ISL sides, and for only for five teams from the I League, that gives the I League teams a less incentive to perform well in their league? And because if you anyway finish seventh or eighth or ninth in the ISL, you anyway play the Super Cup. But for I League, it that doesn't happen that way, because earlier it was 6-6 from ISL I League, but now this undue advantage for the ISL side. So do you see a
Yeah,
problem
but
for?
having said that, you are actually telling the world that ISL is your Premier League. So you are finally clarifying that point, and that is fair, because look, at this point in time, the kind of monies that are spent on ISL teams aren't the same as I League teams.
Hmm.
Every ISL team, the kind of budgets most of these clubs now have are at least twice, if not thrice, of every I League team. And both you and I know that. So quality of players on offer, the quality of the competition will be better. I mean, some of the ISL teams, think about it this year. Even under six are better off. So I think it will be a kind of a challenge for I League teams to match them and go up there. So rather than looking at it at a disadvantage, you should sort of look at it as an opportunity to punch above your weight and go beat the ISL teams and make a mark in the Super Cup. So go beat Mohun Bagan, go beat Goa, go beat Hyderabad, go beat Mumbai City FC, and create your own niche. For Indian football, it's important because, again, I mean, I-League teams, you are all of us are looking for that elusive striker post Sunil Chetri. All of us are looking for positions in the Indian team. And from what I saw in Manipur, it gave me hope. 30,000 people in that stadium every night for India. And the way India performed against Kyrgyzstan was good to see. So in that sense, I'm actually excited by the Super Cup. I want to watch good football. Timing is horrible when you're competing with an IPL. So it's horrible, but you want to still see what kind of an eyeballs it garners. Will I see reportage in the papers? Will I see one little column? So that is also important to see what kind of media coverage they are able to generate.
Absolutely, and I have seen a tendency of the ISL teams playing their reserve team or the second tier reserves and not the main strikers in the Super Cup earlier. So that sort of diminishes the importance for the ISL clubs in the Super Cup. Trisha.
That is where I think AIFF has a role.
Hmm.
It cannot be that the season has ended for the ISL clubs after the ISL, and this is just an add-on like an exhibition tournament. That can't happen.
I think they need to make it like an FA Cup and put it somewhere in the middle of the season during the ISL so that main players can also participate.
Either that, or they have to completely mention this, because see, it takes away from the game and it takes away from the purpose of having a Super Cup, if you are filing a B team. So as Boria said, I completely agree with him. AIFF has to step in and tell the franchises that, look, this is equally important, and this is for ultimately every single tournament that you're having is keeping your national team in mind. So let's see it. The ISL clubs B team, they're not going to national team straight away, right? So you need your A team there, and AIFF has to make some sort of a rule to impose that if the franchises aren't really bothering.
Yeah, and we are lovely. It was to talk to you, and we'll be back for the pre-match of the IPL matches. But Shubhan, last day Man City gave you a hope, but Arsenal again won it and went up to the top. Last time Arsenal
They are
won the league
going.
was in
They are
20.
going. They are going to the Anfield next. They are going to the Anfield next. Let's see. Let's see some tough run of games for Arsenal coming up. Hopefully they'll
But
slip up. I have my fingers crossed. So let's see.
it's really shocking to see Arsenal at the top of the season for so long. Last time Arsenal won the league was in 2003-4, the Invincible. Buryada, do you remember the season? Arsenal never did not lose a single game.
Yes, I do, because I watched that season, and I was a student then in Oxford, finishing my PhD in 2003, and I used to go and watch a couple of games because my publisher's office was there. So I used to
No.
get off in that particular station and go and watch a couple of games. So I do remember. And at that particular time, Gareth Southgate had come to one of our programs. So I remember discussing that season with him in Oxford. So yes, I very, very vividly remembered that particular season. And I've seen
And
Wenger's moment of glory as boss.
yeah, and that is the only record that only Arsenal have, the Golden Premier League. No other team has ever won the league invincibly. That was great, and let's hope Arsenal manages. But I don't want. But let's hope they win because they have a good history. So it was lovely talking to you, Boryada, Shubhan, Trisha. We'll be back with the pre-match show of IPL back to back. Again, a double-header day: SRH, RR, and obviously RCB, MI. So thank you for joining. We'll be back with the pre-match and Sindhu's final updates. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.